ahead, Groch.
Well, what I found, you didn't just help me relieve my stress.
This was in the clear stress in less time than it takes to find the Valium?
Yes, I looked at the name of the workshop and I go, oh, a way to clear stress in under 3 minutes. That sounds like it could be very useful for work. I had no idea what I was getting into. She does stress on a level of 1 to 100. And typically if I'm not going through a specifically stressful situation, I have relatively low stress. So when I entered into this class, she was able to take me down from a stress of around 10 or so from being out on this land down to being at 0. And actually experiencing 0 stress for the first time ever in my life, I can truly, honestly know in my heart is what 0 stress feels like. I had no idea that was, I touched my true self and connected with my true inner self and brought it out in a way that I've never been able to connect with before. And I learned the way to do it is by finding that peace, finding that point of 0 stress, because that stress is what chokes out our inner self, what chokes out our connection between us and our true, powerful selves.
You grok that in fullness. Oh, you're so awesome. And you're going to teach it to your therapist?
Yes. The next time, I've been seeing a therapist since about December of last year, and she's a good therapist. She's a very good therapist. She's helped me out a lot, but as soon as I get back, I'm going to share this with her, because I told her some of the things when we discussed. I told her some of the things that I'm doing to relieve stress, and she's very open-minded to the things, and she's like, oh, that sounds good. I want to use that with other people. And when I get back home, the first thing I'm going to do when I go to my therapist's office next appointment is tell her about what I've learned here from Joy Phoenix, and so that I know she's going to want to pass this on. My therapist is going to want to pass this on to every client that she treats.
Yay.
Because this is just, I didn't think that just simply learning how to deal with a stressful situation was going to lead into a profound clearing out of stress that is life-changing the way that it did.
People don't realise it. They think stress is normal and they think that this is as good as it gets. It's so not, is it?
Well, I learned. You taught me the difference between dealing with stress and actually clearing the stress out of your mind and out of your mind, body, and soul is entirely different.
Oh yeah.
From just dealing with stress.
Yes.
By the way, after your workshop, I went and practiced that meditation again as I walked through the labyrinth.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting because the labyrinth takes you from outside of yourself into inside of yourself. And then as you're going in, those things that are outside of yourself that you have to walk through on the outside, you leave them behind along the way.
Right.
Until you travel to work your way gradually into the inner heart of the labyrinth. Then you do a ritual to connect with your inner self, which I've now learned, which was so much more simple than I ever thought. And then what you do is what you find in that inner heart, that connection, as you come back, work your way back out of the labyrinth, you bring that with you, and you bring that outside of yourself. So by the time you enter, you emerge a new person, and you don't pick up all those old things you dropped off along the way. You don't pick those back up on your way back out of the labyrinth. And one of of the things I noticed is I got to the part where I was working my way out, and you kind of weave into the circle and weave out and then weave in. As I was weaving further away, I noticed like all these terrible little mesquite thorns everywhere they have around here. It was a little rough in some of the patches of the labyrinth, but on my way out, after connecting with my true self again, I found, just out of nowhere, I found a new mantra. I can't say I created it. It came to me on my way out. My path is no longer treacherous, for now I am empowered. And I chanted that all the way out, and those mesquite thorns and spikes just seemed to kind of not be there anymore. And I walked out so much more easily than I walked in.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that, Groch. That rocks.